I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This one's going to be in Mexico City. Brandon Moreno taking on Steve Erceg in the main event. Anytime you go to Mexico City, it's going to be lit. It's going to be fire. So I can't wait to see this card. Looking at my bets from last week, I only had one bet. Because my bets this year, I've said it multiple times, my bets this year are so cold. They're so cold. And again, I stay cold. I had one bet. It was Jordan Vucenic and Carlos Solberg. I felt those two were arguably the best predictions to make, like the safest predictions. But then Jordan Vucenic, what was that? Seriously, what was that? And even Carlos Solberg, like, let's be honest, man. You are not close to fighting against Magomed Ankalaev. You are not close to fighting against Alex Pereira. You're nowhere near it. I do think it was very close, the co-main event. It was very, very close. But the performance, it was just disappointing. It really was. But not as disappointing as Jordan Vucenic. That was horrible. Just abysmal. But yeah, one bet, one loss. It is what it is, man. I'm cold. But I'll tell you one place that ain't cold. Mexico City. So let's go. And if you're on my Patreon, despite this cold streak, you just bet against me. If I post up a bet, which I will do later today or tomorrow, or maybe today and tomorrow, you just bet against me. Man. I'm too cold. When I say cold, I don't mean good. I mean bad. So you bet against me, man. First match up on the card, we've got Austin Hubbard taking on MarQuel Mederos. And the fighting styles between Austin Hubbard and MarQuel Mederos are very, very different. They're not similar whatsoever. So looking at the fighting style of Austin Hubbard, he kind of reminds me of Kurt Holobar. And I broke down Kurt Holobar's fight 2 weeks ago. And what I said about Kurt Holobar is he kind of reminds me of an old school fighting style. And what I mean by that is he'll go to the center of the octagon and just look to exchange punches right there in the pocket with the opponent. He looks to lock horns with the opponent right in the center of the octagon. There's not a whole lot of, hit and don't get hit with Austin Hubbard. He's right there. He wants to be right there in the fire. And that's very entertaining. That is very, very entertaining. And that's kind of what he's about. His jab's good. His 1-2's good. He's very tough. Very, very tough. But with MarQuel Mederos, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing someone that wants to go right to the center of the octagon and look to exchange big punches right there. We're not seeing that. We're seeing someone that has this nice footwork, beautiful footwork, looking to hit and not get hit. Someone that's playing defensively and also offensively at the right times. So in my opinion, I think MarQuel Mederos is fighting at a higher level than Austin Hubbard. But guys, if I was to ask you, which fighting style do you prefer to see? From an entertainment perspective, would you prefer to see Austin Hubbard, who's going to go right to the center of the octagon and look to KO the opponent, and he's going to stand right there? You can break his nose, you can bloody up his face, he's going to stand right there. Or would you prefer to see someone who's going to skate on the outside, use their footwork, and hit and not get hit? Now, most of you are going to say, look, Austin Hubbard, that's the fighting style I want to see, because we're going to see violence, we're going to see blood, we're going to see a stoppage. But if I was to ask you guys, which fighting style takes more skill? Which one takes more skill? Not what's more fun, what takes more skill? Most of you are going to say, look, being able to hit and not get hit, defensively and offensively, playing the game on a high level, you're going to say MarQuel Mederos. So guys, for me personally, I am going to side with MarQuel Mederos. I think he should be like a -200 or -250. And now checking the odds. We've got MarQuel Mederos, -188, -200. Yeah, that's about right. And that betting line may go to like -250. It might. And I just think, his ability to skate on the outside, his ability to use defensive footwork, not always be right there in the fire. Austin wants to be right there in the fire all the time. And I just think, that fighting style, it's old school. You know what I'm saying? The game has progressed. The game has evolved. You know what I'm saying? So Marco Mederos, in my opinion, that's the pick. Next matchup, we've got Gabriel Miranda taking on Jamall Eemmers. And guys, what makes this matchup so fun is they both have to win. They both have to save their UFC career. And what's fun about that is someone's going to lose and someone's going to win. So a question we've got to answer is the same question with every single matchup, despite the scenario that both fighters are in. Who's going to win and who's going to get dusted? In my opinion, I think Gabriel Miranda, he gets dusted. He gets destroyed. And I know looking at Jamall Eemmers in his last matchup, he got destroyed. He got dusted by Nate Landwehr. That was a year ago. But can Gabriel Miranda do something similar to Nate Landwehr? In my opinion, no. And that's mainly down to the fact that Gabriel Miranda, he's more about jiu-jitsu. He's more about grappling. He's not well-rounded. He hasn't really got that skill set to show the weaknesses or to destroy the chin of Jamall Eemmers. Whereas Jamall Eemmers, this guy can wrestle, he can grapple, he can box, he can kick, he can do it all. Whereas Gabriel Miranda, he's more about grappling. So guys, more than likely, if Gabriel Miranda does find a way to win, it's going to be the submission prop that's going to be cashing, more than likely. But I just don't see it. I really don't see it. I think who's more well-rounded is going to be the one that wins the fight. And usually, who's better does win the fight. And I think Jamall Eemmers, with the boxing, the kicking, the wrestling, the grappling, the experience, I do believe Jamall Eemmers finds a way to win and saves his UFC career. And Gabriel Miranda maybe gets cut. Maybe gets cut. So that's the pick. Next matchup, we've got Vinc from Pichel taking on Rafa Garcia. And Vinc Pichel fighting, it gives me an opportunity to tell a nice little story. And I always tell the story. Well, not always. I don't always tell the story, but I will tell the story this time. Now, guys, a few years ago, I was on Xbox Live, and I was watching a PUBG stream. PUBG, right? I was in the stream, I was watching it, and there was someone in the stream called From Pichel. And I was like, who are you? Are you Vinc Pichel? Or are you Vinc Pichel's biggest fan? And he responded to me and he was like, I'm Vinc Pichel. And I'm like, you're not Vinc Pichel, bro. Chill. Come on now. And then he invited me to an Xbox Live party and I accepted. And he was like, yo, what's up? In his American accent. And I was like, this ain't Vinc Pichel, man. Come on. You're not Vinc Pichel. And then he was like, yeah, I'm Vinc Pichel. I'm Vinc Pichel. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to message you on Facebook. If you respond, then you're Vinc Pichel. I messaged him, he responded, and yeah, man, Vinc Pichel was just casually in a PUBG stream, and I got to have a nice little chat with him for like 5 minutes. And yeah, man, Vinc Pichel, he's the homie. He is the homie. I know Kevin Holland is the homie, but the real homie is Vinc Pichel. But here's the thing. Vinc Pichel, man, even though he's the homie, he is kind of old. He is kind of old now. But he is that boxing style, man. He's that cholo. Can I say that? Can I say that? He's got that style, man, with the American mustache, the Italian version. You know what I'm saying? He can box. He can box, but there's inactivity, there's injuries, there's not a whole lot of progression on the side of Vinc Pichel. So I kind of have to pick against him. I have to pick against Vinc, but listen, man, anytime Vinc Pichel's fighting, I love to see him do well. I'd love to see him win. And I remember one time he was fighting Roosevelt Roberts. He was a massive underdog. And I was in his stream one time. I was like, listen, Vinc, you have to target the leg. You have to blast the leg of Roosevelt Roberts. Look how skinny he is. And he kind of did at times in that fight. And he won that fight. As a massive underdog, he won that fight. But he was old back then. Back then he was old. Now he's like super old, if Vinc doesn't mind me saying. I know Vinc ain't listening, but he's just kind of past his prime. And Rafa Garcia being in Mexico with the grappling, the cardio, the takedowns, the non-stop pressure, I do have to pick Rafa Garcia, but I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong, man. And From Pichel goes over there and dusts up Rafa Garcia. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see that. But if you want me to be genuine, which I will be, I think Rafa's going to win. So that's the pick. And I do think Rafa should be a decent sized favourite. And looking at the odds, minus 500. Minus 500. That's a lot. That is a lot. So if Vinc Pichel can defy the odds, I'd love to see it. I would love to see it in 2025. That would be so sick, but I doubt it. I really do. Next matchup, we've got Loopy Godinez taking on Julia Polastri. And I feel quite strongly that Loopy Godinez, she's going to win this fight. She should win this fight. I hope she wins this fight. Because Loopy Godinez, man, her wrestling, her boxing has really improved. And she's always been one of these fighters that I want to see do well. I want to see Loopy do well. And I did take Julia Polastri as like a minus 110, minus 115 against Corey McKenna. And Corey is also someone I want to see do well. She's not in the UFC anymore. But yeah, man, there's a lot of fighters I want to see do well. There really is. But I just think Loopy Godinez being in Mexico, and I know Julia Polastri is Brazilian, so it's not going to be like an away game too much for her. There's going to be Brazilian fans in attendance. But I just think Loopy Godinez, man, her wrestling's good, her cardio's good, her IQ at times can be good. And at times it can kind of let her down. Remember that time she was fighting Verna Jandy Dober and she was going for leg locks for like 4 minutes, 3 minutes. And I'm thinking, get back to the feet. Get back to the feet now. Box this girl up. But she kind of didn't. She dropped the ball. But I do think she can win against Julia Polastri. I just think her boxing, you know, her boxing's good, man. And Julia, she does have good damage in the clinch. You know, she'll put you in the clinch. That's what she done against Corey McKenna. And at times, Julia Polastri, she's going to go for her own takedowns. She's going to grapple against certain opponents. But can she get Loopy Godinez to the ground? Can she out-grapple, out-wrestle Loopy Godinez? In my opinion, probably not. And I just think Loopy Godinez, with her boxing, it's really improved. So guys, even though I think it's going to be a very close fight, a very decent fight, the prediction for me, it has to be Loopy Godinez. That's the pick. And the odds for Loopy, in my opinion, should be around minus 160, minus 170. And the odds we've got Loopy Godinez minus 240, minus 230, minus 250. Yeah, those odds, in my opinion, they're a little bit out of hand. They're a little bit wide. But I do like the bookie is siding with Loopy Godinez. I do like that. But the odds are a little bit wide. Next matchup, we've got C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, going over to Mexico to fight Melq Costa. And I did pick Melq Costa to get a nice win over Andre Fili. I didn't expect Andre Fili to shoot a takedown. I didn't expect that. You know, so much experience on the side of Andre Fili. To see him do that, a little surprising. But Melq Costa, his Muay Thai is very decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I wouldn't say it's elite like Edson Barboza or someone on that level. But I do think his Muay Thai is good. You know, his knees, his kicks, his ability to play the kicking game on the feet until you want to go to the ground. And that's where his jiu-jitsu, his black belt jiu-jitsu, it's very, very dangerous. And most Brazilians do have that style, where it's Muay Thai on the feet and then jiu-jitsu on the ground. Now, Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, as we know, this guy just defies the odds. He just defies the odds time and time again. And it's almost like you don't even break down a matchup where Christian Rodriguez is an underdog. If he's an underdog, you just simply pick him. You just simply pick Christian Rodriguez at plus money. And if you don't, then he'll just remind you. He'll just be like, look, I'm an underdog, and that means I'm going to win. And that's it. That's it for Christian Rodriguez. I'm assuming he would be an underdog in this spot. I haven't seen the odds, but it just feels like on the feet, it's the boxing of Christian Rodriguez against the kicking of Melq Costa. If it goes to the ground, I mean, look at the way Juliana Rosa wrapped up the neck of C-Rod. And then you're looking at the way Melq Costa wrapped up the neck of Andre Fili. So it's like if it goes to the ground, then it should be the jiu-jitsu of the Brazilian, Costa. But does it go to the ground? It may stay on the feet. And if it stays on the feet, then the boxing, the kickboxing of C-Rod, he can compete. He really can. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick Melq Costa as more than likely a favourite to win this fight against the underdog. But now I'm going to check the odds. Oh, you've got Christian Rodriguez as the favourite. Oh no, that changes everything. That changes everything, because if he's the underdog, then he wins. But now he's a favourite. He might lose. He might lose, man. He might. So yeah, I like that pick. I'm taking Costa. Moving into the next matchup, we've got, We've got Ateba Gautier taking on Jose Medina. And guys, what I find so amazing about this matchup, or what I find amusing, what I find funny about this fight, if you look at Ateba Gautier, he kind of has like Francis Ngannou level power. But then you look at Jose Medina and he's got like Homer Simpson type toughness. And that's what makes it funny. Because when you're looking at Ateba Gautier, you're looking at someone that's going to get round 1 stoppages or early round 2 stoppages. But then you're looking at Jose Medina and you know that he's going to take unbelievable punishment, fight through the punishment, then start to take over. That's what he's about. And Ateba Gautier is about the opposite. He's about just landing a bomb and stopping the fight. So if Ateba Gautier can go in there and do that, then you know that power is unbelievable, because Jose Medina has insane durability, insane toughness. And when you stop someone that's so tough with a single strike, then you know it's serious power. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if Ateba Gautier can't find that stoppage with that single strike against someone that's so durable, then you kind of know that Jose Medina, he's going to work him over. He's going to take over. He's going to show his endurance, his durability, his ability to fight through adversity. And then you're looking at Ateba Gautier, his takedown defense is kind of dusty. His inexperience, he hasn't got a lot of cage time. I kind of like Jose Medina to lose round 1, to get dusted up in round 1, but then to take over. Then to be like, listen, I'm Homer Simpson with the defense. You ain't going to put me away. And then he takes over in round 2. And then he takes over in round 3. And he wins like a 29-28. Or even gets a late stoppage against Ateba Gautier. I'm going to pick Jose Medina. I did take Ateba Gautier as an underdog on the contender. But I just think the insane toughness, the durability of Jose Medina, the ability to take damage and still be there, I kind of like it. Against Ateba Gautier, someone that doesn't have cage time, someone that doesn't have insane cardio, I kind of like it. So I'm going to pick the punch bag, the Homer Simpson-like defense, durability. I'm going to pick Medina. And looking at the odds, oh my goodness, we've got, oh man, it kind of reminds me of picking Cody Gibson. We've got Ateba Gautier -400, -450. I mean, on the contender, he was a +100. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I bet on him. But now he's -450. He does have power. But what if he slows down? What if he gets tired past round 1? That Jose Medina guy, he's looking for his first win. So yeah, those odds, in my opinion, a little crazy. A little wide. Too wide. So my pick, Jose Medina. Next matchup, we've got Edgar Torres taking on CJ Vergara. Man, this is a nasty one. This is real nasty, because Edgar Torres, he ain't going to back down from anyone. He ain't backing down from anyone. He's not the most technical, but he has got power. He has got toughness, and he's just got that Mexican fighting spirit. Then you look at CJ Vergara. This guy used to fight in backyards, He's got that dog-like spirit. So when you put these two guys in the octagon, you're going to get knockdowns. You're going to get blood. You're probably going to get a stoppage. And I kind of lean towards Edgar Torres. I do like the boxing of CJ Vergara. He's going to box nice and early. But as soon as he gets his chin touched, has he got a Mexican chin? Because Edgar Torres, this guy's got the Mexican chin and the Mexican fighting spirit. So I kind of lean towards Edgar Torres being able to go in there and just find a nice win in front of the Mexican people. And he couldn't really do that against Josh Van, because we know Josh Van, that guy can box. That guy was also Mexican that night. He's got the Mexican boxing, even though he's not Mexican. But I think this time round, Edgar Torres, he's getting a better opponent. And I just think, yeah, man, Edgar Torres, that's the pick. And I expect the odds to be like Edgar Torres around -170. Oh, man, we got -200, -300 on Edgar Torres. I mean, I do like him to win, but I don't like him to win that much. Those odds again, man, they're just wide. They're just wide. But yeah, the pick for me, Edgar Torres via stoppage, TKO or submission, either one. Next matchup, we've got Ronaldo Rodriguez taking on Peruvian Kev. And guys, here's the thing. Peruvian Kev, man, absolute bottle job. Absolute bottle job. And that reminds me, we were speaking in the Discord before the London card, and I can't remember who we were speaking about. I can't remember. But I called them a bottle job. Oh yeah, that was it. It was Alexander Rakic. Because when Rakic fought Jiri Prochazka, he won round one. Like, he won round one so easily. He was destroying the lead leg of Jiri Prochazka, and he wins round one so easily. But then he fades, and then he becomes a bottle job. Then he gets knocked out. But it's funny because a brother in the Discord, Jojo, or I think it was Damien, or it might have been both of them, or Litz, someone in the Discord, I think it was Jojo or Damien, they was like, what is a bottle job? What is that? I've never heard that. And I was like, man, it's because you're American. It's because you're American. We speak the same way, but we don't speak the same way. But then I explained to them what a bottle job is. But if you're from the UK and you like football, you know what a bottle job is. You know what that is. It's someone that's in control. It's someone that's winning, and then they find a way to lose. Peruvian Kev, he kind of reminds me of that. You know what I'm saying? He'll be winning round one against Josh Van, finds a way to lose. But then against Alessandro Costa, he doesn't even find many moments. He just gets destroyed. I just think he's a bottle job. And Ronaldo Rodriguez, he also fought a bottle job in his last fight, Ode Osborne. That guy finds a way to lose. You know, the fight starts, he instantly knocks down Ronaldo Rodriguez, and you're thinking, okay, that's a good win. That's a knockout for Ode Osborne. But then he can't finish his dinner. He can't finish the fight, and he finds a way to lose. So Ode Osborne, bottle job. But yeah, breaking down this matchup, I just think Ronaldo Rodriguez, good grappling. He's got kind of lazy boxing, but I just think he's going to win against Peruvian Kev, who's a bottle job. And because Kevin Borjas can't really find a way to win, and he finds ways to lose, I do expect him to be a big underdog. And he's not a big underdog. He's not. He's a slight underdog. We've got Ronaldo Rodriguez only -140, -160. I mean, I might bet that. I might bet that. Against Kevin Borjas, Peruvian Kev, he'll find a way to lose. Even if he's in control, he'll find a way to lose. And on the flip side, Ronaldo Rodriguez, if he's losing, he'll find a way to win. So they're opposites. So yeah, that's my pick. Next matchup, we've got David Martinez taking on Simon Oliveira, and arguably my most confident prediction on this card. I think David Martinez, with his footwork, amazing footwork, similar to MarQuel Mederos earlier that we broke down. He's just hit and don't get hit, always circling. And then you look at his kicking ability. His kicking ability is phenomenal. Then you're looking at Simon Oliveira with a Muay Thai skill set on the feet, good jiu-jitsu, good grappling, but couldn't really get takedowns in his last fight. And I just think, you know, David Martinez, man, with the footwork, the speed, the kicking ability, I just think he's better than Simon Oliveira. So guys, in my opinion, that is my most confident prediction on this card. Actually, my second most confident prediction. Because in the next matchup that we're going to break down, that's so easy. That's so easy to pick. But yeah, in this one, I think David Martinez with a clear decision win. That should happen. It really should. And checking the odds, we've got David Martinez -400. So yeah, that kind of tells you. But then again, Jordan Vucenic was minus 400 and he got dusted. Will David Martinez get dusted? Hopefully not. Hopefully not, man, because his footwork, his movement, his speed, his kicking ability, it's all good. Next matchup, we've got Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Vinc Morales. And clearly, this is the easiest prediction to make on the card because Raul Rosas Jr., his grappling, his strength, his ability to, at times, bring the opponent to the canvas, or a lot of the time, bring the opponent to the canvas and impose that amazing jiu-jitsu, that amazing strength. But then you're seeing against Arichi Leng, he actually kept the fight on the feet. Like quite a lot of the time, he stayed on the feet and it was kind of boring. It was a little bit boring. I want to see Raul Rosas Jr. go for those stoppages, you know, attack the neck, attack the arm, look to find stoppages because he is that good. He really is. And he's still so young. He's so young in his career. There's so much progression. There's so much evolution to happen with Raul Rosas Jr. But I just think, you know, Vinc Morales, you lost to Elijah Smith. You lost to Elijah Smith. Now you're going to Mexico to fight Raul Rosas Jr. You know, Vinc Morales, man, you know you're going to lose. You don't even believe you can win this fight. I'm actually going to say that. I don't think Vinc Morales even thinks he can win. He just wants a fat paycheck. And that's fine. That's fine. But guys, in my opinion, this is a very easy prediction because you're looking at Vinc Morales against Elijah Smith. Look at the grappling exchanges. And I know there was times where Vinc Morales, he looked good on the ground. He looked good in those grappling exchanges. But there was also times on the ground for Vinc Morales where he should have been more in control. The positional control should have been much stronger. Like he was going for neck attacks when he should have taken the back. And Elijah Smith would then take over. So I just think when you look at the grappling exchanges with Vinc Morales in his last matchup, there's weaknesses. There's weaknesses. Now you're looking at Raul Rosas Jr., who's much better from a grappling perspective. I think he's going to destroy Vinc Morales. I really do. I don't even think Vinc Morales thinks he's going to win. That's how easy this matchup should be for Raul Rosas Jr. So I think Raul Rosas Jr. with a round 1 submission or round 2, it should be that easy. I really believe it. And I'm assuming the odds, they should be around minus 1,000 for Raul Rosas Jr. You've got minus 400. Minus 400, man, that's value. I know that sounds silly, but I think that's value. Because Vinc Morales, you look at the grappling against Elijah Smith. It wasn't good enough. And then you're looking at Raul Rosas Jr., who's much better than Elijah Smith. How does he win? He can only win by staying on the feet. But Raul Rosas Jr., he's going to get takedowns. I think if you're Vinc Morales, you're hoping for Raul Rosas to slow down. You're hoping for a strong round 1, then he slows down in round 2. But I can't see it. I can't see it. I see Vinc Morales slowing down and getting stopped, getting submitted. That's what I see. Next matchup, and a fantastic matchup. We've got KG, Kelvin Gastelum, a fan favourite, an excellent boxer, a guy that's so experienced in the UFC, taking on Joe Pyfer. Be Joe Pyfer, or don't be Joe Pyfer. But Joe Pyfer, man, his boxing, his accuracy, the precision, the power, the ability to check the opponent's chin on the feet, it's there to see. Then you're looking at his wrestling, his grappling, his black belt in jiu-jitsu on the ground. He's so well-rounded. And that's why he's done pretty well in the UFC as of yet. Looking at KG, he's just past his prime. And he doesn't really take this fighting stuff too seriously. I mean, there was a time where he uploaded a video on his YouTube. And the video title was Missing Weight with KG. And it's like, he doesn't take it seriously. He really doesn't. And to bet on someone like that, to put money on someone that doesn't really care if they win or lose, it's a risky thing to do. But then you're looking at Joe Pyfer and his mindset. This guy wants to win. You know Joe Pyfer, man. This guy wants to win. And he's going to train hard. He's going to show up. And he's going to do his absolute best to get his hand raised. And you can't really say that with KG. You may say that KG's a very experienced guy. You may say his wrestling's good, his output's good, his boxing's good. You can say all of that. But can you say he's showing up 100% willing to do whatever it takes to get his hand raised? Can you say 100% he's trained like his life depends on it? I don't think you can. Not in 2025. I don't think you can. But I think with Joe Pyfer, you can say that. You can say that he's going to show up. He's going to try to do everything he can to win the fight. You can say that he's going to train hard. You can say all of those things. And I just think sometimes at the highest level of mixed martial arts, it's kind of about who wants it more. Who's willing to dig deep? Who's willing to do more? Who's willing to go further to get their hand raised? And I just feel Joe Pyfer is willing to do more. And that's why I'm going to pick him to win. I'm going to pick him to defeat KG in Mexico. That's my pick. And guys, I'm assuming the odds, they should be close. You've got KG plus 250. Oh man. Oh man, they're not close. These odds are not close. Joe Pyfer is lined in the same way that I broke down the fight, where KG doesn't take it seriously. KG plus 250. Wow. I mean, he is a good boxer. He is experienced, but he just doesn't take it seriously. Look at his weight. Look at his shape. You know what I'm saying? This guy likes tacos. I'll take Joe Pyfer. Moving into the co-main event, and a phenomenal co-main event. We've got an absolute banger between two Mexicans. And I know some people right now are thinking, Drew Dober's not Mexican. He's American. But if you've watched Drew Dober fight, then you'll know he's Mexican. You know, he'll stand and trade. He'll stand and bang with just about anyone on the roster. And Manuel Torres, this guy wants to do exactly the same thing. And I took Ignacio Bahamondes, La Jaula, as an underdog against Manuel Torres. And luckily enough, he found the chin of Manuel Torres before Manuel Torres found his chin. And that's kind of the same thing that you've got here in the co-main event. You've got exactly the same thing. They're going to stand in the middle of the octagon. They're going to trade massive fight-ending blows. And someone's going to hit the canvas. Someone's going to bleed. Someone's going to get dusted. But who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? I'm going to pick Manuel Torres. I'm going to pick Manuel Torres this time round. I just think Drew Dober, he's taken a lot of damage. He's taken so much damage. And that kind of makes me lean towards the real Mexican in Manuel Torres. And that's going to be my pick. I'm going to side with Manuel Torres to get it done via KO TKO. I think he's going to stop Drew Dober. But guys, I could be wrong. I could be so wrong because Drew Dober, man, he can stop Manuel Torres. Don't get it twisted. Drew Dober with the experience, the output, and the ability to fight past round one. Manuel Torres, he hasn't been past round one too much. He may slow down. And once he starts to slow down in round two, Drew Dober's like, hey, listen, bro, I really love to fight. I really love to fight. I can fight all day. And Manuel Torres might be like, you know, I tried to stop you in round one. You're still here. And now I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit now. So that could happen. It really could. But I just think with all the damage that Drew Dober's taken, I do lean towards Manuel Torres to find that stoppage. But it could be wrong. It could. I do expect the odds to be close. They should be close. And we do have that. We have a pick'em. We have a pick'em in the co-main event. And I can't wait to see this fight. I really can't. Someone's going to get dusted. Someone's going to get stopped. Who's it going to be? I lean towards Manuel Torres. That's my pick. Moving into the main event, and a phenomenal main event. We've got Brandon, the assassin baby, Moreno, taking on Steve Erceg. And it's going to be a phenomenal main event. It really is. Now, if you guys ask me, who's the better boxer between Steve Erceg and Brandon Moreno, then in my opinion, it's going to be Steve Erceg. Look at the clean technical boxing ability of Steve Erceg. He's such a good boxer offensively, but defensively, he stands quite tall. He stands quite tall. And you'll see him with Kaikara France. He finds his chin. He finds his chin and he sends him flying. But guys, if you ask me, who's the better mixed martial artist between Brandon Moreno and Steve Erceg? You know, factoring in kicking, grappling, wrestling, toughness, stamina, cardio, endurance. then in my opinion, it's going to be Brandon Moreno. I just think he's better. I just think he's a better mixed martial artist. This ain't just boxing. And I know Steve Erceg, he does have good grappling credentials, but so does Brandon Moreno. And he once said, you know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I will be a champion. And he done that. He found that. He became a champion. And I just think he's more well-rounded. Arguably, he's past his prime. And I did doubt him against Amir Albazi. Even with Albazi coming off heart surgery, I still doubted him. But he showed up and said, look, I'm still here, man. I'm the assassin baby. And he put on a masterclass. Now he's got to do the same thing against Steve Erceg in Mexico City. I think he can. I really do. I think Steve Erceg, he got to the UFC, he won some fights, and then he was basically thrown into the deep end. And since he's been in the deep end, he's been struggling to swim, if that makes sense. And I think, again, he's going to struggle against someone that's so well-rounded, that's so experienced in the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. So my main event prediction has to be Brandon Moreno. And I'm assuming the odds should be Brandon Moreno like minus 250. And we've got minus 220, minus 250. Yeah, they make sense. They do make sense. I mean, Steve Erceg, he's got like a puncher's chance. He may win a round. He may win 2 rounds. But over 25 minutes, I just think if the real assassin baby shows up, because he didn't show up against, what's his name, Brandon Royval. The Brandon Moreno that showed up that night was so weird. Was so weird. So I hope that version of Moreno doesn't show up. If the real assassin baby shows up, then he's going to win. He's going to win. And that's my pick. As always, my homies, appreciate you checking out my breakdown. Leave down your favourite main event prediction, your favourite co-main, your favourite single bets, doubles, Money City parlays, all that good stuff. Drop in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky and never glued to your shoes. Let's go. Peace.